How are you? How's everyone doing? Let's start with the information. And well, this was an attack launched from Yemen by the Houthis against Israel. This is the moment when the Israeli defense system intercepts this drone. That was supposedly a drone that was trying to attack Eliad tonight. Well, for them, I imagine it would be early morning on the 9th in Israel, although it's already dawn there now. But obviously, this kind of attack draws attention. Also, another image drawing attention today is this one. What's happening in this image?
We're seeing the earthquake, how it was felt, but it's an area that the Russians, have had to withdraw from. It's the Kinburn Peninsula. This is in Russia, but it has been attacked multiple times by Ukrainian drones, and they've had to withdraw from this area because of the danger involved.
It's an occupied area in the south of Ukraine. Well, it's been in Russian hands for quite some time now. But the fact that they have to withdraw shows a shift. Although it's not a big enough shift to say that the war will end soon, not by a long shot. But they are interesting signs of what's happening in this armed conflict. Also, well, what's happening at the World Cup is drawing attention and is increasingly being criticized because of the measures. The security measures are, well, offensive, really offensive, to the point where they have treated the officials and players from many countries very badly. They are very upset about the way these kinds of things are exaggerated. Here we are seeing the Senegal national team, where they underwent a thorough inspection. Now, they really checked everything for everyone, detail by detail. And obviously, well, it's quite an issue, really. Obviously, I mean, we understand what an inspection is, but this time it has definitely been overdone, especially with certain countries. Look, for example, this is a moment when this whole situation has been heavily criticized, because this is with the Uzbekistan team. Yes, and now it seems like anything is seen as a coin, suspicious, or whatever, basically anything. They were giving them instructions for the smallest detail. No, obviously. Well, this has been harshly criticized. A lot of things have been happening. There have even been shootings, for example, right next to where the English team is staying. Yes, there was a shooting. It was really serious, right? You just think, how is it possible that there are shootings where the England team is staying or right next to it, right? Things that have been adding up, and the way they've treated the Iranians. I get it. There's a war, whatever you want. But yes, you have to know how to distinguish, to tell the difference when they're football players. Hey, if there's someone suspected of being involved with the Revolutionary Guard, then don't let them in. But those who are football players, treat them like football players, right? Because honestly, right now, there's a lot of apathy towards foreigners and tourists. It's one of the worst times for tourism in the United States, right? It's a terrible situation, but instead of the World Cup becoming an attraction to bring in tourism, it's going to be exactly the opposite with these kinds of actions, right? But anyway, another issue, another image that also draws attention is this one. What's happening there?
It's an attack that happened at a factory called Arsenal over there in St. Petersburg, Russia. And well, there was an explosion and well, it has drawn attention. There have been many attacks. I mean, many explosions in a row, right?
Exactly. Well, also, this is what we're seeing with these, well, tremendous floods. This is because of Tropical Storm Boris, which is already starting to affect Bocana Beach on the Pacific coast in Mexico. This is happening in Guerrero based on social media reports. But you can also see that Tropical Storm Cristina over in Central America is coming in very strong. And I think there are 3 people missing. How many have turned up?
I think it's 5.
5 missing. Well, today we're talking to you. Today we're giving you an update on how Tropical Storm Cristina is doing and how Tropical Storm Boris is doing. There are already missing people in the first one. Over there as it moves through Nicaragua, towards El Salvador, towards Guatemala, and possibly reaching Mexico. So stay alert. And this one, which is Cristina, is mainly going to enter Guerrero, Acapulco. So, well, stay alert to that situation as well. Let's go into more detail about what's happening in the world. today is a very intense day, especially because there were attacks in Lebanon, which obviously upset the United States a lot because, well, in theory, this is a sign that there won't be a ceasefire. And the United States really wants a ceasefire. I mean, it wants a ceasefire. It wants a ceasefire. And that's the idea that Trump has right now. But at the same time, Israel says, well, yes, but if they're attacking me, then I have to respond to both Iran and Hezbollah. So there are a series of major clashes again, to the point where Donald Trump tells Netanyahu, if you keep going like this, you're going to end up alone. And obviously this, well, I imagine this must be raising alarms over there in Israel. We have to remember that Israel moves at its own pace and follows its own path. And its intelligence infiltrates wherever they want to infiltrate, regardless of whether they are friends or not. And at the same time, we also have to acknowledge Trump. Well, he doesn't really have friends either. I mean, he has his temporary allies, but the moment they are no longer useful to him, it's goodbye, right? There's Zelensky, there's Netanyahu himself. I mean, he tries to pretend they're friends and all that. But in reality, they're basically just used for his own purposes. And if he doesn't need them, or if he's going to fall for some reason, and they're to blame, then goodbye, right? I mean, obviously that's how it is right now. This war has become very unpopular over there in the United States, where not even the Republicans want it. The MAGA supporters, who are the most loyal followers, hate that war. They don't agree with it. So, well, those who may have followed the situation and more or less understood, the reasons are the few, let's say, who support this conflict. Other than that, they see it as an unnecessary war, a war where the United States wasn't being attacked and the issue could have been resolved. The uranium issue in very different ways. The thing is, well, there's this clash.
There's this clash, and well, today it was leaked that President Donald Trump had multiple calls with Netanyahu since yesterday, since the attack began. And well, at one point he told him, no, don't attack Netanyahu. You say they're violating Israel's sovereignty and attack, right? And well, the thing is that after the second attack, there was another call between Trump and Netanyahu. And Trump told him, you should be very careful with what you do because you could end up alone against Iran, and very soon. And this is something that was revealed today in a comment. In fact, it was also shown on an Israeli channel, Channel 12. Trump insisted to Netanyahu that he will no longer respond to Iran's missile attack on Sunday. But anyway, Israel, as we mentioned, decided to counterattack, although, well, their attack was measured. Honestly, this one really targeted areas that were carefully considered in terms of air defense, the air defense writer. This is the laboratory because it's important.
Petrochemical.
Oh, yes, it's petrochemical. I mean, these are points that draw attention. There are rumors about certain people who supposedly might have been killed, but it hasn't been confirmed. One is Ahmed Bajidi, but Iran hasn't confirmed any of this. They've also spread the rumor. Right now, it's not a rumor. It's just that they haven't communicated as before. Here, what stands out is what draws attention.
Exactly. The Iranian leaders still supposedly can't communicate with Moqtada Mojtaba Khamenei. He went into stealth mode after the attacks, thinking that maybe they could have fired towards where Mojtaba is, so they've preferred to keep him safe. And apparently no Iranian leader, or at least none that we know of, has contact with him. They've tried to find him, they've tried to contact him, and no, they haven't been able to reach him. Obviously that seems to be part of the extreme security strategy he has. Yes, thank you.
Yes, very strange.
Very, very intense, but it seems like that's the way that has worked for them to keep him. Well, apparently with me, because, well, really, no. We don't even know what this person's health is like, especially considering that there isn't even an audio recording of him. We don't know anything.
As for his voice, nothing. We don't know. We've never heard him speak.
Yes, I mean, after the war. No, I mean, there isn't any information in that sense. And I also want to express my enormous gratitude to Anna Hughes. Greetings, Anna. Greetings, Anna. Thank you very much for that super chat. That, by the way, went to Dahat Dajat 428. So now they have a free membership. Thanks to Anna Hughes. Thank you very much, Anna. On behalf of Enorme, greetings to the whole community who are already channel members and to everyone who isn't, but who deep down would like to be. Well, thank you very much for supporting us, for subscribing as well, obviously, right? Orfe Mendez, how are you? Francisco Arce, a big shout out. And thanks also for this other membership, Anna. Greetings to everyone. Look, there's a reaction from Trump There's also a reaction from the Iranian leaders saying, well, basically, they do want a negotiation, but they want attacks on Lebanon to stop. Don't attack Lebanon. And the first thing that happens is that Lebanon is attacked. So that's also a sign that Israel is angry. Exactly. Let's talk about another important matter. Well, the possibility of a storm happening this time is huge. Well, actually, two tropical storms that are currently in the Pacific, and both Boris and Cristina are very close to Mexico. One is right now off the coast between Nicaragua, Honduras, and El Salvador. It's already causing rain in these three countries. Heavy rains are even reaching Guatemala now. It has already left some people missing, hasn't it?
Exactly. Let's go with Cristina.
With Boris. Let's go with Cristina, who's the strongest now, and she arrives.
Well, let's go with Cristina. Cristina is now moving toward Mexico and has already left 5 missing people in Costa Rica. Although it hasn't had any effects in Mexico yet, we do need to stay alert because there are already impacts in Costa Rica. As we mentioned, the Costa Rican Red Cross reported this Monday that 5 people are missing due to strong waves in the Pacific caused by this tropical storm.
Listen, right now it's at 72 kilometers per hour. So it's not weak yet, even though the forecast is that it will make landfall in Guatemala City and then move toward Mexico. So from now until Thursday at 11 in the morning, it will be reaching Guatemala, but it will arrive weaker with winds at 46 kilometers per hour. So the forecast is that it will weaken and gradually disappear, and it will stop being a tropical storm and become a tropical depression. It's not, what's most concerning isn't this, it's not the strength of the wind. It's exactly the amount of water, as we already know. What are those sudden rains, like where suddenly what usually rains in 3 months in that area falls in just 2 or 3 days? So that's the worrying part. Now something else from Cristina.
Yes. Well, the National Meteorological Institute reported that they expect persistent rains in Costa Rica today for the rest of today and also tomorrow. And well, it's also going to bring a lot of rain to Honduras. Now, 18 departments of the country are under what is a preventive alert for 72 hours due to rising river, stream, and creek levels that flow into the Pacific Basin. And also the waves in the Gulf of Fonseca have increased. So yes, you really need to be careful. Yes, of course. Regarding what the authorities are saying, in Guatemala, an alert has already been declared due to the threat of flooding that this tropical storm could cause and because of all the ongoing events. So they say there have already been rains recorded in recent days, and they could intensify in much of the country. Because we have to remember that we've had rain all this week, especially in Central America and southern Mexico. Right? It's been pretty intense.
All this week. In fact, listen, there wasn't even really a forecast for rain. I was visiting, I imagine. And right now, Francisco Arce, Panterita, everyone who's in Mexico City will tell us, well, yes, there was rain over there, right? How are you, Alberto? Greetings to Colombia. How are things going over there? Go ahead and start telling us how the rains are in your region, please. Walter Osorio, Rocio, Karim, let us know the state and country where you are. And how are the rains? Because look, all of South America has a high chance of rain and significant water accumulation, both for Colombia and Venezuela. We're only looking at water accumulation from now until the middle of the month, meaning throughout this coming week, to see how the accumulation will be. And it's also surprising, especially surprising, the amount of water that's going to fall on the Pacific coast, which is where the most rain is expected. For example, here we're already talking about 100, 114, 120, 130, even 135 millimeters of water these days. And what's more surprising is in the areas with storms, not the 287. 287. What's it called? This millimeters of water, that's quite a lot of rain expected for this region of the world. So stay alert for that. And now let's move on to the tropical storm Boris. Let's go. well, Boris is also causing some scares. And it seems Boris likes to get intense, especially since it has such a strong name, right? Boris always seems like someone powerful, right? At least that's what movies have taught me, right? Whenever there's a Boris, they always make him the villain. I mean, who knows what's up with that? I think it's probably something from the Cold War era, right? I think it's because of the Russians and all that. Whenever there was a Boris, it was like, oh, watch out. But it's a very nice name, by the way. Now, Boris, well, it's a tropical storm that's also in the same situation as Cristina. It's at 72 kilometers per hour. It's also moving toward land, and by tomorrow it's going to weaken to 46 kilometers per hour. The problem isn't so much the winds, at least right now, although it does have strong gusts, and there can obviously be some risks. But the important thing is the amount of water.
Right? Exactly what the meteorological service says is that it's bringing a lot of heavy rain, strong wind gusts, high waves, risks of flooding, landslides, and rising river levels. And according to the official forecast, this system will make landfall around midnight. It seems to me that it's almost there already, right? Yes, on the coast of Guerrero, it's also going to cause, since it's interacting with low pressure channels and the moisture coming from the Pacific Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean Sea. So right now the authorities, they're already keeping a constant watch on Boris, while at the same time they're monitoring, as they say, a young man at the Doodle, well, Cristina, and well, rainfall between 75 and 150 millimeters is forecast in just a few hours. The states that will experience the heaviest rain, so pay close attention to this, are Veracruz in the south, Oaxaca in the east and northeast, Chiapas in the south, and states with heavy, not intense, but still strong rain, Jalisco in the south of Jalisco, Colima, Michoacán, which is the coastal area, and Guerrero in the east and southwest. In addition, heavy rains are forecast in several states in the center and north of the country, such as Mexico City, State of Mexico, Morelos, Puebla, Tlaxcala, Hidalgo, Querétaro, and Guanajuato. They also warn about electrical discharges. Be very careful when standing near windows or going out for a walk during these thunderstorms. There is also a risk of hail, rising river levels, waterlogging and urban flooding, landslides in mountainous areas, and reduced. In the Valley of Mexico, it is forecasted to be a cool morning tomorrow, with cloudy skies, patches of fog, and the possibility of isolated showers.
Well, all of that in the next few hours, basically, right? I mean, you already know how to prepare for this, right? At the end of the day, what we're going to see, especially on the coasts, what we're going to see are things like what we saw in some places. Intense waves, exactly. Intense waves, some swells, the usual things that start getting reported, right? And it's not Ana Hughes saying it anymore. If I'm not mistaken, Ana Hughes, you're in Costa Rica. You are, right? And over there in Costa Rica, well, obviously it affects you too, right? It affects you.
It's affecting Cristina right now.
Exactly. Over there, Ana is affected. Cristina is affected, especially them. Maybe they won't get as much wind from what I'm seeing. Maybe just a little. Let's see. Let's check how close Costa Rica is. Well, no. It's just that Costa Rica is far from, well, relatively, right? From the phenomenon. Look, let's go with Cristina now. But notice where Ana is. I mean, Ana is around here, right? And the phenomenon is here. But anyway, look, it's your turn, right? I mean, it's even your turn on the Atlantic side. There's a lot of humidity. So now, if we look at the waves, since Ana mentioned it, right? And well, in the end, here we also have the possibility of seeing the waves. So let's see how things are shaping up, right? I mean, how the waves are expected to behave in the area and what heights they will reach. Look, the entire coast of Costa Rica, if you notice, on the Pacific side, there are strong waves. Look, pay attention towards Liberia, for example, right? That's where the event happened that caused a lot of problems. Just recently, we talked here about what happened in Liberia, in Costa Rica. Some floods where a family, a mother and a daughter, had their house flooded, and several people were evacuated. Do you remember? Yes. Well, over there in Liberia, the waves right now are 3 meters high. I mean, just imagine. And that's with the phenomenon still farther away. But for example, if you go to Costa Rica, they're already 4 meters high. If you go to the north of Costa Rica, those waves are already about 3.8 meters. I mean, around 4.3 meters, right? That's the approximate measurement right now. If we go to the coasts of Mexico, where Boris is moving in, Well, Boris is also bringing waves of about 4 meters, right? I mean, that's something to consider as well if you live there, right? 4 meters, in fact, well, they've already been warning the boats. Obviously, they shouldn't go out to sea, right? Logically, right now is not the time to be going into the sea because the phenomenon is intense. Even the waves, if we look at it that way, the waves can be seen as far as places like Jalisco. I mean, we're already talking about Manzanillo, about Colima, right? All these beaches around here, Tomatlan, to Vallarta. No, look, this area protects it, this outlet, let's say. But basically from Tomatlan all the way to Chiapas, right? Basically, there are strong waves in the Pacific. So, well, let's also keep an eye on what's happening with that. Let's move on to other matters. Anything else on that topic? No? Okay, let's move on to other important matters. Maybe one of the strangest stories, and that's saying something considering what we've talked about. Maybe one of the strangest stories. And we've told stories about aliens. We've told the most bizarre stories. But I think this one could surpass every bizarre, strange story we've told. That happened in Brazil. Where else? But Brazil or similar places like other Latin American countries where such things occur. But it also happened in the United States, right? So there's craziness everywhere. Many people get excited about it, and several of you have mentioned it to us. Recently, someone commented to us that they couldn't have children and that they would love to adopt. But when you face everything you have to do to adopt, it becomes very complicated. So this family said, let's adopt. And they end up adopting a little girl who is 12 years old. According to reports, for 14 months, Amanda Maria Sousa Oliveira, also reported as Amanda Maria Sousa de Oliveira, actually wasn't 12 years old. And I don't know at what point they believe she was 12 years old. She was 37 years old. And on top of that, well, she acted like a baby. So what's going on there? Why? I mean, in the images, let's see if we can show the images. In the images, she's there with her baby bottle and everything. Honestly, it's really crazy who in their right mind would believe that this person is 12 years old. Honestly, she's 37 years old and you can tell. It's not like you can't notice it. You can see that she's 37 years old. It's not like she's 37, but looks really well taken care of. No, it's 37 years, well lived. Honestly, no, I mean, and I say, well, the police only showed this image, right? This one where they showed her from behind, but when they were able to verify her age, they said, no, this isn't a girl. This is a 37-year-old woman, right? Right? I said, look, this is the lady. I mean, where do you see 37 years old, please? I honestly think it's probably just their desire to adopt was probably just that strong. The parents who believed this, I don't know, or maybe they were blind. I don't know what happened there. How did they take it?
The thing is, she presented herself as a 12-year-old girl with autism who also had other medical conditions to gain the family's trust. She claimed to have been subjected to forced hormone treatment during her childhood. And that's why she looked older than everyone expected. I had it all planned out. Plus, I've pulled off this scam many times before. Jose Nunez, the first time, has several accusations under another name, which is Maria Eduarda in Rio de Janeiro and Ana Clara in Sao Paulo. And well, the police also they say they used part of the accessories from his disguise. Like, he behaved in a very, very childish way for someone who is 12. like the baby bottle you saw just now. He had pacifiers. I mean, yes, pacifiers, toys. And also, well, she made her family invest in getting her a medication that's very similar to Ozempic, which is Mounjaro to lose weight. She said if they're gonna help, they should help complete.
I-
They were paying for her weight loss.
It can't be. It can't be. I mean, everything is just justified like that. No, pues, no. What was it then, like a parasite? I mean, she lived and did something else. She stole things. She didn't really live life.
Almost all adults at some point say, I became an adult. Well, she lived the dream.
Thank you. I imagine her
I imagine the lady ordering at the movies. She's 12 years old and run like a boy.
and do it however you want. And besides, the other one acting like she's more, I mean, not like a 12-year-old boy. I mean, a 12-year-old girl. They're already teenagers. I mean, they don't act like babies anymore. And that face like sucking their thumb, and when they do, well, this is really crazy. In this world, there are a lot of crazy things, really.
Well, really crazy. And
The crazy thing is also that people fall for it, right? So Foy says, close to Minya, how are you? Where are you? Are you over there in Brazil? Did you hear about this case? It's crazy. Greetings to Foy. Hello. So he says, I read at first that they said she was scared. Says Rublo. Greetings, Rublo. How have you been? Yeah, I mean,
she also presented herself as if she was a victim of human trafficking and all that stuff. But well, of course,
I don't know how people believe her at all. Well, it turns out it was a huge scam, and she had already pulled the same scam on several families. So she already had experience, let's say. More than that. Well, suddenly they saw that thank you. From where? Is that bad? From Somalia, Trump's favorite country. The problem with the whole issue of the conflicts that have happened there and things like that, right? It's not in the Congo. I mean, it's not like
he has the problem
of Ebola or something, but he's a FIFA referee. He's a referee recognized by FIFA, considered one of the best referees in the world. And well, he arrived. Thank you. United States. And they told him, no, not you. Go back. The decision comes amid concerns about the policies of the Trump administration. They are delaying preparations for the global sporting event. What's happening? Are they sending him back again?
What's going to happen? Well, apparently not. I mean, his name is Omar Artan, and he landed in Miami this weekend. In fact, he shared the photos saying, on my way to Miami. He was coming from a flight from Istanbul over in Turkey, and it turns out that at the US Customs and Border Protection, well, they said no. They say that during the inspection, it was determined that the traveler, a FIFA World Cup referee, was inadmissible due to security control issues and was denied entry. They don't say exactly what. That's the problem. This has obviously drawn attention. Also, we have to remember that Trump has had a campaign almost since he entered this government against Somalis. Well, he has said an impressive number of things to them. And well, FIFA confirmed that this decision by the United States to ban Artan's entry, and stated that their status will not change for the moment. And they say, in line with previous FIFA events, the host government is ultimately the one who determines who receives a visa and who is admitted into the country. I mean, they don't get involved in this issue. They'll have to find another one, I guess another referee who isn't from Somalia. And well, this is the first known case of a World Cup referee being denied entry by the authorities of a host country.
That's crazy. This is insane. Let's move on to the other important matters as well. Hey, well, these images have come out showing how some buildings ended up after the earthquakes over there in the Philippines. the earthquake that left houses and buildings either partially destroyed or completely destroyed as well, right? I mean, obviously today we already mentioned an update where dozens of people have been reported dead and also dozens missing and injured. Well, that's an earthquake after all, right? And it hit hard. In a country that in the end, even though it has a lot of earthquakes and in theory they're prepared, it's still a developing country. And I mean, if these powerful earthquakes cause damage in Japan, of course they're going to cause damage in the Philippines too, right? Obviously, well, it's an issue where against nature, it's not just about having strong houses and all that, but in the end, nature always ends up surprising us, right? Destroyed walls, damage in every sense, both material and, well, to people as well, obviously. So, well, there are the images. That's how things are. No, I don't know if there's any other update about the earthquake, if there's any other information or anything, but obviously we'll keep updating here with the latest information, right? In the end, this isn't immediate. It's going to take a few days. We should remember that there was also an earthquake in several regions of Asia. And even today, we were surprised by an earthquake in Cuba. A magnitude 6 earthquake as well, or a powerful, truly tremendous earthquake.
Regarding the situation in the Philippines, the number of deceased has already increased to 36, I think, because in the morning it was 32, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, injured. In addition, 4 people are reported missing and more than 88,000 people have been affected in their homes.
Well, that's how it is. That's the situation. Let's address the other important matters. Let's move on to other important matters as well. They claim that Vance says the United States will continue negotiating with Iran, even if Israel doesn't agree. Vance, well, he puts himself in this position where lately it's been criticized that Vance is practically on his way out. I mean, Vance hasn't generated interest among a good part of the Republicans, and it also doesn't look like people who aren't Republicans are going to vote for him. The one who has a chance right now is Marco Rubio. So Vance, well, he's a person who just didn't catch on. They saw him as an outsider, like Trump himself, who maybe could be controversial and interesting enough to. But in the end, no, it hasn't turned out that way, at least not so far. So now they see Marco Rubio as more and more likely to be Donald Trump's possible successor, at least when it comes to the next election and the next term, right?
Exactly. About JG Dance's comment, the next Israel, you may agree or not, but basically we believe this is what's best for the United States. He made that very clear to me. He has always been very focused on the idea of not really getting involved in other countries' problems and just looking out for the United States. And well, I think this is in line with what he has always said.
Exactly. Well, that's what's happening with that topic. There's also, well, a statement on the topic of this war, right?
Exactly. Those comments you mentioned, I don't know what world Trump lives in, but, well, we have to say it. The thing is that today he claims he will declare a total victory over Iran within 2 weeks. He feels super confident about this reality that he sees. He declared it today where he proclaimed a total victory. And just a few hours after Iran and Israel, well, paused their escalation in quotes. Because in the end, after they declared this, just hours later, the UTIs launched this drone. I mean, in the end, the UTIs are acting as Iran, right? Yes, Iran isn't attacking, but the UTIs are attacking. And, well, the comment is, we've been a very tough team and I think we're winning this battle, but the final victory will come in the next 2 weeks when we declare total victory. He said this at a meeting where he was going to support Senator Lindsey Graham in an event where he's trying to support his hospital allies, the few he has left among the Republicans.
That's how it is, right? That's how the topic is. Very interesting. In the end, they don't really have this. Today, why does he say this? Because today it was revealed that Iran's operation is called Operation Victory, right? And so they use the same phrase, right? Well, we're also going to claim victory. I mean, Iran, what they're saying is that they win because their conditions are what prevailed in the end. I mean, they keep the uranium even if it's all scattered in a bunker. They kept that without negotiating and now control the Strait of Hormuz, which they didn't have before. Well, obviously, this isn't over yet because I think Netanyahu is also making his moves. But there's also a lot of pressure on the United States to make it stop. So who knows how far Israel is specifically capable of operating, even now against them. Because of course, if Trump decides to act against Netanyahu, then Netanyahu will also act against Trump. There's no doubt about that. And I actually see Israel as more capable of actually achieving something, right? I mean, to put him in a complicated situation, it's more likely that Israel could do that than for Trump to put pressure on him and make him do what he wants. Netanyahu isn't easy to tame, let's say. I find it hard to see Netanyahu being controlled. No.
He is very clear about what he wants. And as we've mentioned here, he has spent decades fighting on this issue of destroying the Iranian regime. There are videos from the 70s and 80s of him giving this speech. So, well, he is very, very clear about this. And he is not going to change, right?
I'm not going to change you or anything. That's just how it is. But yesterday, they did what they did now. Let's discuss another aspect of that topic.
Well, today as well, Netanyahu, even though there is this ceasefire between Iran and Israel, did issue a warning to Iran. And he says that if Iran attacks Israel again, they will respond forcefully. And he says if they make the mistake of attacking again.
So, well, they're going to continue in that direction. There's no doubt about that, right? And like they say, I make my own decisions. I already do. I make my own decisions. Cheers, Eliseo. Don't leave. You've fallen asleep, Eliseo.
Greetings, Elise.
Greetings to Eliseo, who might even be dreaming about the news, right? Are you there? Hasn't that happened to you? You say those cancers that in a letter like this, Nina.
Greetings.
Hi, Robles. Cheers, cheers, Eliseo. Let's see. I'm coming. It's getting really good. Greetings. Promises, like that.
Promises, stories.
Promises, stories. Hey, let's move on to another topic, right? Let's move on to other important matters of the planet and also what's happening in the Middle East. Hey, check out this image. Isn't it surprising what's happening? I'm telling you, volcanoes and earthquakes have been super active these last few days, and this image we see of a mega plume. Where is it?
This is the famous Lebotovi volcano, the Akilaki in Indonesia, which always gives us a lot of images like this. This is a plume almost 4 kilometers high, according to the Indonesian Volcanology Agency.
The activity is impressive. The volcano remains active, generating an ashfall, and there are alerts for local aviation. And, well, it's a volcano that constantly keeps the nearby residents on edge because they know the risks that exist there. And, well, Indonesia, after all, and the South Asia region and the famous Ring of Fire, they know the risks that exist there, right? The Philippines, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and all these regions. Even Kamchatka and even in Japan, they have a significant number of volcanoes. Sakuriyama had a major eruption over the weekend, although they're very used to it. And I think the Indonesians are too, right? Yeah.
Yes.
They're super used to it. There are images of them just living their normal lives with the mountain there, impressively covered in ash.
It's also impressive. And it's also impressive how the community supports the channel. Honestly, it's appreciated.
Very much. Many greetings.
Greetings, blog, for sending that super chat. We really appreciate it. And to the whole community that supports us in that way, let's say, right? We really appreciate it. 5 memberships that have been given from Diaz to Joel to Valeria.
Not Valedora.
No, Valeria.
She doesn't call me Belia.
Belia. Greetings, Belia, and how have you been? Also to Dan Maynard. I think that's his name. Awesome.
Yes, Maynard and Elias Duarte. Also to Darwin. What's up, brother? Darwin, I hope you stay here.
What's up, Darwin? Big greetings. Very good. Well, that's the topic, right? I mean, yes, it's obviously very much appreciated. Let's move on to other matters, other very important topics as well. Let's get into the details. And at this point, Iran knows the situation, how things are, and knows the pressure that the United States is under because of the World Cup. So let's see. Who thinks Iran is interested in negotiating right now? Nobody. They're not interested in negotiating. And that's exactly why the head of Congress, the head of the parliament over there in Iran, already came out and said that if the deal is broken, if the negotiations fall apart, they really don't care. Basically,
Exactly. They say diplomacy doesn't prevent military operations, nor do military operations prevent diplomacy. At a given moment, with the threat of an attack and the interruption of negotiations, the Israeli attack on Beirut is avoided. At another time, with an attack, it shows that they're not afraid of the negotiations being interrupted and that they're fully prepared. By the grace of God, the result is that they are forced to give in regarding our rights and we establish our own. So it's not about fighting or negotiating. Rather, we must fight when the time comes and negotiate when the time comes. Just as we can defeat the enemy, that's how we can decide. Negotiation is the continuation of the struggle. It becomes a reality. In other words, basically, they don't care if tomorrow there are talks because of an attack between Israel and Lebanon. And if they respond, well, they just don't care.
does he not care? Supposedly, right? Or is it? Well, yes, it catches my attention. The truth is they know very well. I went through several analyses of different versions, not different media, just to see what they were. Like the opinions that were out there, and everyone agrees on something. Iran is not interested in negotiating. I mean, they're not interested in negotiating. Why? Since the World Cup is happening, why negotiate when they already have the upper hand? So someone mentioned it here. I mean, there are some really good analyses here. I mean, someone mentioned it here yesterday, right? They said, look, while the World Cup is going on, there's going to be more pressure. I can't recall if it was Leonardo or someone else, but someone said, naturally, there will be more pressure. I mean, he's going to be trying to put pressure in every possible way because, well, he says it's a unique opportunity, right? I mean, a country that, well, you're in conflict with is hosting an international event and they're putting everything on the line in terms of status, right? And, well, they don't care that it's the World Cup, right? I mean, honestly, they don't really care about the World Cup. And in any case, they're going to handle it with maximum pressure, basically. I mean, you can be sure of that. There it is. Look, there it is. There's Roblox. And the memberships that were given away. Thank you so much. Thank you, Roblox. Roblox for giving this away, and to Hughes, obviously, and to everyone who supports us. Well, we really appreciate it, simply put, right? We really appreciate it. In the description, there are several ways to support the channel. Several of you have asked us if it's possible through Loxo. Well, through Loxo, there it is. It's in the description. But there's also PayPal. And through, well, different ways. Any support, obviously big or small, all of that is really appreciated. It helps the channel not only to keep existing, but also so we can work on other projects that we're already developing. Right? That's really appreciated. We're also currently looking to buy more equipment so we can go out a bit more, do interviews, and do other things. Well, that's in the plans, obviously, and all that support is really appreciated. Raul, how have you been? Christy Kranz, Eliseo, Emma, and everyone who's just joining me now. Thank you so much for being here. Alba, greetings. Thank you very much. Let's move on to other important matters. Well, the accusations keep going back and forth. They're getting along worse and worse. I mean, after Trump's visit, there's a war, and the war isn't about Taiwan. No, it has nothing to do with Taiwan. The war is about chips and seats. That's the real war right now. And the rest is irrelevant. Taiwan, since it's an important component for seats and chips, obviously Taiwan plays a very important role. But in reality, that's the focus. So that's why another Trump also came along, supposedly being nice, telling me, I'm going to sell you more chips than I used to let you have. I'll sell you a bit more and we'll do business. But that's only on the surface. It's being played right now. The future of humanity. I might sound arrogant, but that's the reality. The future is at stake. right? The future of everything. Where are we going to focus, right? And it's not Latin America that's at stake, nor is it France or Germany. It's the United States and China that are at stake. That's the reality. They're the ones playing. It couldn't be that suddenly someone disruptive comes out and says, wow, this country came out with a group of scientists, really top notch. I honestly doubt it because they've been stealing them. Well, stealing, so to speak. China and the United States keep taking them from each other, saying, come here. No, go there. And they're super focused, like really focused on developing themselves to the fullest. Because whoever has that advantage is going to look. Just to give an example, I was talking about it today in the war between Ukraine and Russia. One of the big advantages that the United States has is the companies. I mean, they've made it. They have enough development already to be at the top. China has done a lot with what it has and has done a lot with the chips it manages to get, but it doesn't have the best chips. So by not having them, it still can't surpass the United States. But in terms of efficiency, it has managed to become at least a real and worrying competitor for the United States. The Hornets, let's take a little break. The famous Hornet drones, which come from an American company, but they collaborate with Ukraine because they are the ones who provide them with information about how the war is going and so on and so forth. It's like a partnership between an American and a Ukrainian company. The Hornets are causing more trouble for Russia. So that's when Russia says it's advancing, that everything is focused on the drones. There are many types of drones, but the ones that are causing real trouble for the Russians and that they can't stop are the Hornets, which are super fast and kind of stand upright like this. You might not remember, but they look like a standing bullet. And then they have these propellers and boom, they go super fast. The thing about those Hornets is that, interestingly, they don't need the fiber wire. Instead, you just tell them, look, you're going to attack this place and this kind of target, right? But when they get close to the enemy, all their communications are cut off. They stop receiving, they can send communications, but they can't receive any. So Russia sends them. Electronic warfare sends them signals. They don't care about those Hornets because the signals simply won't reach them since the Hornets' communications are shut down. The Hornet has a small brain that makes its own decisions, and all the Russians have tried everything, painting it like a zebra, painting it, I don't know what else. They've done whatever it takes, from the tanks to everything else, even the bases.
To the targets.
And the AI detects, like, no, this is one, and boom, it attacks them, the attacks. So they've been destroying everything. I mean, drone factories, bases, radars. It's like they're throwing everything at them, right? So those damn Hornets are an advancement that's got the Chinese scared and others too, because they're realizing that you wouldn't even need, I mean, no kind of electronic warfare would help you against them like before. So far, they estimate that in about a year, they'll have the solution, more or less in a year, which is a lot. Even if they had it in 6 months, that's too much time in a war. But that's the bet right now, that you have to have a solution. That's why I'm telling you. It's just a small example, right? Obviously, there are many other things, but when it comes to technological advances, medical issues, whatever you want, the thing right now is that when it finds the solution, it can produce it faster than anyone else. I mean, it has the ability to produce extremely fast and cheaply and can overwhelm anyone, right? In that sense. But that's also why the United States says, well, I don't want it to be at the highest level of technology because I need to have an advantage. Its advantage is quick production and adaptation. So let my advantage be top technology. That's the real war that's happening right now, which I think is what worries the United States the most, more than Ukraine, more than Israel, Iran, and all those things. They don't really care about it. The real war is this one, right? So the Pentagon is reacting now. What's happening?
There, exactly. The Pentagon just released a list of Chinese companies that they accuse of supporting their country's military. I mean, the United States military. And they're asking American companies not to do business with these companies because it's a national security threat to the United States. Among the companies on the list, the best known one is obviously Alibaba, which we have to remember has intelligence capabilities.
Right.
There's also the engine provider.
By the way, the AI is impressive. We've been reviewing that AI. There was a competition, for example, to see which AI traded better. And this one, Alibaba's was one of the most it turned out to be pretty smart.
Yes, and then we have the search engine provider called Baidu and the electric vehicle manufacturer BYD. The Pentagon's update comes months after a previous version of the list was released and then withdrawn without further explanation. This new list is a slightly different version from the one published in February, but it's quite similar. It has some minor changes. 2 memory chip manufacturers were reinstated in this blacklist after being removed. Shanshin Motor Memory Technologies and Janssen Memory Technologies were not on it, but now they are back. These 2 companies weren't on the February list, but are now being added.
Watch out for that. Watch out for that issue because, saying that they get along well is very relative, right?
It's just for show.
No. There's still not a good relationship. And on the contrary, I think they're actually at odds with each other. Let's go. And what's happening right now in Taiwan is really important because things are escalating a lot. And there are so many things going on. And then there's the World Cup and all that. And I don't think people are really understanding what's happening around Taiwan right now. The pressure is getting really intense. That's why we see the Philippines and Japan already making their moves too, right? Hey.
Yes.
Hi, Lucy.
Let's go to the comments. How have you been? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a busy day. There's been a bit of everything. If you've been watching the broadcast since this morning, well, it's been interesting. From weather topics to geopolitical issues and everything else, thanks to Nina, Gabriel, Ofi, Rublos, Tapatias, and everyone here. Really appreciate it. Greetings to all Nina, Gabriel, Ofe, Rublo, Zapata. Thank you. It's great. You're here. Tapatia, I've had a bad day, but I'm here sending a hug from Tapatia, hoping things improve, and thanks for sharing your time with us. We hope we can help you feel a little better, even if just a bit. Thank you so much for being here, says Pantelita. Very lively. Yes, very lively. No, that's the one. It would be exactly the point. Very lively. Who's going to watch? I hope everyone, but who's going to watch the World Cup? At least the games that matter to them. Someone asks a question, says along in XRP for life. Hey, what do you think? What do you think about this? Good points, right? Good buying opportunities. Right now about XRP 26 and all that. No, I'll be paying attention to see how it goes. I'll check XRP later. I didn't take it off the list because I didn't like it, but because I didn't have enough space. That one suddenly always ends up in my favorite crypto lists. I have it in a separate folder, which I only have written down in the shipping train, but it's not on the list I have for the channel, right? This one here I have for more things, like whatever is important right now, like gold, like what's it called, oil and all that stuff, right? What's up? What else? That goes through there.
Let's also say hi to Jalala from the island, who says she took out $2,000 with 100. Look, Jalala.
Excellent, Galan. So you invested $100. And with the increases that have happened, it already gave you a return of $2,000. Not bad at all. Obviously, that's great. It's all about patience and staying attentive, right? Obviously, really great.
Greetings to Nina. How are you, Nina? And sending best wishes for your health. Also to Little Panther, to Leonardo Escudero, Gabriel Duran, Costa's daughter. And greetings also to Emma Andrade and also to the Kiofa Mendez, to Eliseo Freire. How are things, Eliseo?
Who is with Eliseo Leonardo Escudero? How have you been? Thank you very much. Very good.
Hello to Alba Costa. Hi, Alba. What's up, brother?
To Christy, how are you? Greetings, Christy Costas. Greetings, Christy Kranz. ¿Dónde anda Cristina? La vi.
Ahí anda. Greetings to Walter Osorio, who says it's an excellent night in Guadalupe, Nuevo León. Greetings, Walter.
That's right, Walter. Awesome. Greetings also to California, to Jose Zarate. Greetings to Zarate. How are you doing over there, Walter? The rains are for the south of the country. Tell us, please, Robele, how are things in Cuba? Big greetings. Very good.
They say MTP says, have you noticed that Canada has been very quiet even about the World Cup?
Yes, it always counts as yes.
Greetings to Roble. Me MX did us a favor, says Roble PP from Cuba. Can't support the channel or make transfers, but if there's a way, you have my support. Just being here, Roble, is enough. Whenever you can.
Being here, if you felt its power, sharing the channel with your family and friends, I would really appreciate that. Honestly. But just being here is already something. Your very interesting comments are always greatly appreciated. This one says, okay, greetings. How are you? From what I...
Greetings, Clara Rosa Quiñones, who says, good evening, my favorites. Greetings from Venezuela. Greetings, Clara.
Greetings, Claras from Venezuela. How are things there? Rosma Baco, how have you been? Greetings also to Isa Ibarra, channel member. Very good. Isa, how have you been? To all the members, huge greetings. What else?
Greetings to Mauro. He says, drones with decision-making capability. Amazing.
And in the end, that's what it is, right? I mean, exactly. So it's something that's deciding to take someone else's life, right? Or the side, or the mission they've assigned, since it's not always about life. It could be something that has to do with sabotaging something, with destroying a certain type of thing in a refinery or a certain type of airplane. That's exactly it.
Thanks to poverty. I deserved. Many thanks to Rodrigo Salas, to the life of a father.
He's the cousin. And greetings. Go live this comment that Ogal Pipi said.
The rain burned with a lot of heat and very pure humidity.
Sweaty weather is his favorite. Oh no, really, it's horrible.
Humidity with heat. No.
Yeah, it's good. Well, it's good to endure it.
Greetings to Alejandro Alvarado. And yes, I like them. I like them a lot. Thank you very much, Alejandro.
I like the host.
I like him too. I'm going to remind you.
Leonardo PPD says, yesterday I was watching a movie until 5 in the morning.
Well, it was good, Leonardo.
Hey, but what movie was it? I mean,
What kind of movie is so unusual that you'd watch it until 5? Let's talk about what movie it is. I mean, if you can't.
I remember that there was a time when we didn't have kids that we used to do movie marathons. There was a time when we'd spend Sundays. We would always pick 2 or 3 movies on Sundays. We'd watch them. We'd go and watch. If you try another one, once we watched The Shining, the one by Stanley Kubrick, which is the best, and then the version by Stephen King,
Which is Stephen King.
which is really bad and it's super long also, just to top it off. Besides, well, I didn't waste 3 hours of my life. But anyway, those were good. Those decisions. We used to make plans, let's say good ones.
Sí, esas sesiones. Ya hacemos como from this one. Well, yes, from and possible. Both Astrid and I are big fans of Stanley Kubrick. I mean, since we were in college, we did the same final project, even though we didn't know each other or share a class. Maybe it was unintentional, or maybe you also chose Stanley Kubrick for your magazine. It's all about health. And
Me.
I also did everything for it. I mean, in one class, you have to make a complete magazine per person. People here and each student. A magazine like that with all the details. That part about the magazine, and in a totally professional magazine, well, that was graphic design. I mean, in communications, you also see design, even if it's just 2 or 3 subjects. That's it. 3 years. But it was tough. And the teacher paid attention to every single detail, right? So I did that blog thing later, taking a risk. And I ended up with all 3. And I found out that someone else had done the same thing. Like when it's the same idea, right? Obviously, my magazine was more...
Cool. But that's just what our group says. Those drones are programmed with satellite images to guide themselves and reach their targets. That's what our group says. No.
No, but it goes way beyond that. I mean, what they explain is that they have complete decision-making control. I mean, you can take away the map completely and they will still determine a mission based on shapes, based on heights, based on things, right? Or they have, let's say, a brain that is not an algorithm, but rather a guide in functions, and that is disconnected from the network, right? That's what's most interesting, that they're managing to have a microchip, so to speak, inside a drone. I mean, drone, the Hornet thing is, I mean, it's like the tip of the iceberg, because it's not the only robot that's working right now, because it's a robot, after all, an aerial robot. No. But yes, I mean, both of the ones from the beginning work. with what you said, that it was just a map and only what Ukraine did, or rather Russia. Sorry. And well, Ukraine also messed up their maps. So with that, there's a problem. Now they automatically get blocked. I mean, they reach a point where they get to a certain part and say the whole signal entry system is blocked. Can't cancel the order anymore, right? That's also really dangerous, isn't it? So you know the order is already going wrong, but you can't cancel it anymore because you don't have the option. There's no sensor that's activated at that moment. So then it's really interesting. It's like a real life Black Mirror moment. Basically, we're living Black Mirror right now at this very moment. And there, I think you could write like 5 seasons before it gets to that point. I mean, that one. But cheers to our group who always have really good comments.
Pepe joins in. Did you hear they're going to report 28,000 deaths? FIFA to those who broadcast matches in restaurants and bars without having paid for the transmission rights included on the platforms if they're not around, but the first ones are really greedy. These guys want to take any woman. I mean, they don't want to give anything to anyone. They're just passing things around beforehand. More greetings to Jalala.
Greetings. How are you? She says.
I was watching the last 4 Mission Impossible movies. No wonder. We watched all 4. We did that, but we did 1 per day.
No.
Yes, we did that before the last one.
When we got to watch the last one, that's how we watch one another. Or like that. One day. From the first one up to the one that was out. And then the premiere came. We went to see the premiere. And that's it. Now we're just waiting for the next one.
And the little screen and their destiny was set in their lives. Yes, they realize it. Yes.
Yes.
Justo asks, will there be protests on World Cup Day? In Mexico City today, they don't reach us, right? Not defending those from the ones from the union. There are several, but the union members already got together. They even went all the way here today and were acting like that. Super aggressive, right? They're too aggressive and need to fix it. It's been 3 days with the same big problem.
Yeah. But it's not a fight if they don't want to work things out. I mean, what they're asking for too. Yes.
Yes, I know they're with you. Sensitive. Well, they have to do something. It can't stay like this, because if not, they're going to block the traffic to get into the Azteca. Or it's going to be something really serious. By the way, you haven't shown the images of what? Of the cultural exchange here in Monterrey?
Yes, that's true. An exchange.
Of those cultural clashes that I know you like. What was Gusta?
This is something that's happening, or rather, it's happening right now. I mean, I think you're already seeing it in Mexico too, also in Guadalajara. It's the same in the US. Many people from various countries are coming, right? Depending on, the match that's happening. If it's Japan playing here, obviously it's filled with Japanese people. I mean, a lot of Japanese people went to the national.
To Nashville.
Yes. It's just that their base is really Nashville.
Okay, but anyway.
Yeah, they're playing here, but I don't understand why.
They're going and they're going to take it back to San Roque. But anyway, it's fine. But anyway.
The point is that Japanese people are arriving and they've been going around. It's pretty funny. Let's see. Is this the picture? I mean, they're famous because they make pies. Well, they're the girls who sell pies. I don't know. They put me, I think it's from some business. The girls who are out there. No, and it says they're the Payo girls or something. Leo's already kind of famous there. Lady pies. The thing is,
there's a lady pie who's famous. I think she's from Sinaloa, from Sonora. I don't remember. Very pretty. So it's like companies that sell pies, or girls who sell pies have copied her formula. Guys who are handsome say, well, I'm going to take advantage. Maybe I'll get a boyfriend. So.
Well, they come out very straightforward, let's say, and they go out with their pies to sell them. And there are the Japanese like taking pictures, it seems like, from really far away, right?
Yes, and they're not shy about touching her. Yes, touching the god.
No, I don't think so either. I think we need to put
Your hand like this. No, don't touch them. No.
No, I know. No. Not even close. So it's like about 1.5 meters away, right? And
The kids don't have accidents anymore. Yes.
He says also like this, right?
Japanese commentators are also going to suffer in Nashville with the infernal humid heat. And look, Christy says exactly.
It's humid too. Okay, I don't think so. I've never been there, but I didn't know what the weather was like over there.
Well, in Pantalita, those Japanese really widened their eyes.
If it went away, it's like the Japanese say,
Watch out. I live 4 blocks from the Azteca Stadium, and on Thursday they won't let us in or out almost all day, she says. Also, here, those who live on the side of the stadium they're going to close the entrances 4 hours before the game starts and 2 hours after, something like that. I mean, they gave them a special pass, but you know, that's not going to work, that there's going to be trouble, people are going to get upset, and yes, it's going to be really, really complicated those days.
If not, it's better not to go out. I mean, actually, I think we shouldn't. It's basically not worth going out that day. I mean, you can do it on foot, but not by car or anything like that. That's just crazy. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, well,
Sometimes you still have to go out.
no, that day, I don't think there will even be classes. There won't be anything. No, because it's now. They leave at 12 noon. The game doesn't...
Cabrón, ¿por qué esa hora?
See? I mean, the Mexico game. No, I'm talking about the local teams game. The ones from here. No.
The ones from here, I don't know what they'll do or what will happen. He says, I live 4 blocks from Azteca Stadium. And on Thursday, they won't let us in or out almost all day. Watch out, he says.
If they close everything, it's terrible. You can't take your time. If it's already closed when you arrive, they just say don't go out, but that's not workable.
He says, greetings, believe me, greetings, Eliseo, very good. And who else isn't around that we haven't greeted yet? Someone. Raise your hand if you haven't.
Commented on the new greetings, to be honest. Greetings to Sarate. That's it.
It was really good. Let's see.
We've greeted Rublox here. We greet him too.
And there is one. It's not to remind you. There's a community area. There you can share photos and you can share comments and the whole community will read them. If you want to do it, it's also appreciated. No, this Jose posted. He posted this image 4 days ago. Let's see. We're not going to put nice. If it's nice, we're nice. I hadn't seen it. Look, what are these? Isn't it? I think it explains what they are. But hydrangeas. They're hydrangeas. They're one of my favorite color. The middle one. Let's see. Check it out.
We're gonna hydrangeas are one of my favorite.
Ah, it's really pretty. Yes.
See all the other colors?
Color by color. Let's see. Those are like lilac. Not pink. Lilac. And okay.
Those are blue. Those are, and the violets are a mix. If you notice, they have several shades.
Sanda. Yeah, that happens. You really need these. The blue ones are the prettiest. Yeah, they're really pretty. And then there's this other one that's, well, purple, right? There they are. This purple color, right? Like, that's the right color. That's how you would say it. And there it is, right? That's the, well, look, this is the purple one. Don't tell me it's not purple. This one. Is this purple? Is it? Yes or not? No. This one isn't purple either. No. Well, nothing is purple. Not purple.
Purple just reminds me of Barney.
No, well, that's Barney. Exactly, it's Barney.
Hydrangeas. Yes. Hydrangeas, she says. Greetings to, there it is. That's metal. Salud Venezuela. Greetings to Alicia Sendeño, who says, good evening, Pepe and Astrid. Greetings.
Greetings. How have you been?
They're right in your backyard. I'm so jealous. And she doesn't put them.
They lay eggs without her.
Rooster and hen. And
She lays them out there. That's great. Listen.
haven't you thought that, you know, you have a pretty big yard? Having a mini donkey. They're really cute. And also,
You're going up. Well, a fancy.
let's go to...
Convince the daughter, Sarah's daughter,
They are beautiful. They're about this size and they're really cute. They're endangered.
To persuade Sarah's daughter to get a donkey.
We don't need to convince her. She already had the idea and it's done. Unless she doesn't have 3 or 4.
Yeah, honestly. Yes, they're really cute. Yes, they're really cute. The thing is, you can't just have one.
No, you have to have 2.
Several. Otherwise, the poor little donkeys might get bored. They get bored there. They get bored.
Greetings to Armando Antonio. Greetings to Armando Antonio. Greetings to Roser. Thank you so much, Roser, for being in that super chat where they say the best communicators are and they're awesome. Thank you, greetings, Roser.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you so much. Greetings also to, and it also affects those who have luxury boxes, the Lyceum. They were protected by the law. They're the only ones who won't have to pay for admission. If those guys paid for that thing but couldn't use it, or had to pay again for something they already bought, it wouldn't be fair. Yeah, of course, greetings to, and besides, they all have a lot of money. So obviously they were going to defend themselves.
Yeah, they were going to defend themselves. They were going to get lawyers and everything.
Of course, yes. Mini Burrito says it should be called Maburito.
burrito. Oh God, how cute! We have to have one.
One that's called Maburito.
She says, I love luck. And you too, Isa. I love it. Yeah, but the only thing is, I don't really like the name. I feel like it could have had a better name. That's why, I don't know.
It's nice.
But I connected with a lady I know, so it feels odd. Greetings from around the world. We give more donkeys as gifts. What do you think? Should we give more donkeys as gifts, she says. Of course, yes.
This one is really good. I say, okay. We read it to her. She says, how are you, Clara? Greetings, ma burro. more donkey. Armando and Sibarra say, well, let's go.
Let's go, guys. Remember that we're on WhatsApp, we're on Telegram. That's where we send you the live notifications. And we're also on X, Facebook, and Instagram, so you can stay up to date with the latest things happening in the world. Thank you so much, Porter.
Well, that's it. We've been talking since early. We've got live coverage, broadcasting in the morning. They're like shorter clips, but they're also live. And then later on at night, we have a longer session and we get to talk. Sometimes it lasts, like today, about an hour, and sometimes we go on for much longer. Because it also depends on the news and the conversation and everything, right? Well, a hug, take care. See you tomorrow. Until then.
We interrupt your regular programming. Thank you for tuning in to The Truth. This we live.
The truth is intense, pure. The unusual is real, pure. Here we analyze it. Global focus. Don't miss out. Tune in to the PP Live channel with Pepe and Astrid, keeping it real. Raw journalism here. Respect is given. Turn on the alert. Don't lose track until next time. Yes, sir.
We're taking attendance. Subscribe.
Live in the house. Yes, sir.